I have a lot to say. So I have another plate evaluation. This is a plate that someone sent me and wanted to, see if it was a good meal. So this plate is different from the first plate evaluation in that it is square and it is, excuse me, it is already broke up into its own sections. One, two, three, four, five different sections. So getting right into the evaluation. Uncovering the meal reveals potatoes, greens, cabbage, fried chicken, and assortment of fruits. In my opinion, this is a great selection or a great option, number one. And if you notice, I've moved some things around in the plate. In my opinion, the meat was in too large of a section on the plate, and I've always said that the meat, in my opinion, should be a side item. So I have relocated it from the largest slot in the plate to a smaller slot, and I have cut it in half. Meat is not needed in such a large quantity as people think. It is a very nutrient-based food and very supportive to the overall health of the body in the right proper proportions. So I cut the meat in half because the meat works against the alkalinity in the leafy green vegetables. That would be the cabbage and the turnip greens. The chicken will add to acidity levels in the body, inflammation in the body, and be harder for the digestive system, could cause things like constipation and things like that. Not that this individual deals with things like that, but I cut it in half to better balance it off of the leafy green vegetables. In addition, I have moved the turnip greens to the largest slot in the plate, and I greened it out on purpose because this is an indication that I think that they needed to have more leafy green vegetables. I would say about a cup of turnip greens in this section. So overall, I think this is a better choice for the individual thinking about what goals they should be making. I think they did a very good job at putting the fruit or the dessert in this section of the plate. I like that there are a lot of colors. It looks like there is some blueberries, some raspberry. This looks like some pineapple maybe. This looks like some cantaloupe. Here's a grape. There may even be a pineapple in there. And that's just the indication of a multitude of, the coloring suggests a multitude of nutrients and for better nutrient absorption and a more nutrient balance. In my opinion, the mashed potatoes for this individual is a filler. It's unnecessary. I'm not going to be a stickler, but I could say they could, consider cutting it in half. But overall, the plate, the way that I have arranged it, I believe would better help meet some sort of health goal as well as help with digestion and nutrient levels in the body. Which brings me to option number two. Everything being consistent, the way that it looks here, without any alterations, what this individual could do is get rid of the mashed potatoes altogether, keeping their big hunking piece of meat, and add to this square where the mashed potatoes was some turnip greens, some cabbage, a side salad, some more greens in this meal to offset the amount of meat that they're eating. And I think that that would be a better attempt at a balanced meal considering the proportions of meat. My final thoughts concerning this meal. I honestly say this was a fair attempt at providing themselves with a balanced meal. I think that it shows progress, very good effort. However, the plate, the way that it stands, I believe will be better suited for someone that was at a better optimal position of health that really didn't have things to work on, really weren't dealing with symptoms, really didn't have any health goals, and they just wanted to maintain, this meal would enable them to maintain or even provide nutrients. The body has an amazing ability to make a penny stretch to a dollar when it's in regard to the minimal amount of nutrients that we put in our body, and its ability to take that nutrients and stretch it and make it work to keep us alive. Considering that this individual should have health goals, this meal is going to do one of two things. One, it's going to keep them consistent and in the state of health that they're in, because the meat in this proportion, because they text me like, why would you cut the meat in half? The meat in this proportion is going to work against, and I believe defeat, the effort to get the turnip greens and the cabbage in. It's a lot of meat. By cutting it in half, it will allow the turnip greens and the cabbage to do its work. There may be even nutrients left over to grow hair or whatever, address some of the issues in the body. And I'm not saying through one meal, but a continual process of looking at food this way would begin to knock down the different barriers or obstacles in health. It's going to either do that, or it's going to add to the problems, because this meat, as I've already stated, is acidic, and in all of my other, well, and in plenty of my other videos, I mentioned that acid, when the body is acidic, it supports every health problem known to man. So I think that when eating, if the body is saying, trying to communicate with symptoms, headaches, things like that, I think it's our jobs as good stewards to respond and to, to die to our flesh and not enjoy this, big old piece of juicy fried chicken, and cut it in half and maybe save it for another meal. Or, as I always say, if you just want to eat this, start with the vegetables first. Definitely add some more. Go on over to the fruit, then the mashed potatoes, and then consume the meat, and then consider another separate meal of a salad or a fake-it-to-make-it smoothie. I believe that's all that I wanted to say. Until next time.